GLHF, and we'll be having a restart on Oasis because of some kind of weird connection issues in there. And this time it's a slightly different layout. As you can see, nobody in the direct corner on the bottom side, but on the left and right. And first to have a look at is Nyan. Does he see the zebras? Yes, he does, although he doesn't really care. And he's going just for the berries because they are probably closer. Wants the extra food as soon as possible. And maybe he'll be switching later, and he should be switching later. But, well, just for the time here, for the time being, he's just moving with the oracles here and trying to see something extra special, but not really. The only thing he sees is that he's very low on wood, which is kind of curious, but at the same time, since it's Oranos, it's not all that game breaking or some such. Giliudai on his right side is already gathering from the zebras, having 4 as well, and berries in the forefront, and otherwise it seems like there might be some extra hunt at the forefront, but so far it's just a gazelle, and we're not sure there's going to be something extra. But here we do have the giraffes, which is very cool, and extra food in the form of berries. In the forefront there's an extra herd of giraffes that's going to be helpful for either Kiliudai or his green teammate Nyan if they choose to do so. And Ayach on the left is again having granary next to the berries here, but then at a late decision to actually switch into the zebras, which is a whole lot better. So yeah, having the granary prepared here can never hurt, but it's a bit of a waste of time here in the beginning, but it's not like it's going to be all that super important for the Ra here. Very nice giraffes at the forefront as well for him, and well, this TC is, if I have to guess, that's basically 1, 2, 1, 2. That's supposed to be magics, I think. Both of these two are probably magics or other ReGens. It's kind of curious placement here, and he's going for zebras as well. And otherwise, some extra monkeys, giraffes, and what's this? Better buildings, crash armor. All right, that's very cool for them, and more cool that their opponents don't have it, I would say. And infantry hack armor, that's absolutely awesome. That's going to help literally any fight in this map. That's very cool for them to have. The pocket for ReGen Systemista. Not gathering berries, so that means zebras. Yep. Zebras. With hunting dogs, of course. And well, do we see something else? This is going to be a pretty interesting spot. Also with the extra monkeys here, that can potentially help him discovering some extra goats. And what's this kind of relic? Oh, wow, extra population for town centers. Well. That's very cool indeed, although I'm kind of missing some kind of giraffes for him. He just has, oh yeah, here they are actually. He already moved into them. So yeah, I just missed that. A bit earlier I was talking about it. And he already moved in there with the second batch of willies. And we are at 3 minutes. So that means we should be expecting some temple from Titu. And maybe also magic, so we'll see. This willy is probably going to be placing it somewhere else, and he's right now going for this hunt, and he should be discovered by Nyan Racing Cat here, which is slightly unfortunate for him, because that will open him to a raiding, obviously. At the same time, Titu himself is scouting very offensively, trying to see what his opponent is doing, and Kiludan is dropping temple, so he's going for some reasonable advance, not really attempting something slow it seems, and Nyan Racing Cat is already switching somewhere else, and he is going to double into Titu. So he's switching into the offensive, and right now Titu won't be aware for at least a moment. He probably knows that Nyan Racing Cat is somewhere close by, but not with what. And this might be a pretty nice surprise. How's he looking with advance? Actually 90%. That's going to be super fast. Super fast, and how's it looking with other advances? This is going to be sub 5 for Ayach. 50% for Magic. 20% for Demista, and T2 is 44%, so it's going to be really fast. But can he actually make some advantage of this? He already is, because he's forcing T2 off his hunt, which is very important because this was T2's hunt, and it's basically a lot of food getting decayed there, and 3 giraffes being denied altogether. So he'll be forced into the berries, which is slightly slower. But, well, it could prove into some very nice early aggression here. He's scouting all around, trying to see where T2 is, and he's right now not anywhere else than his base, obviously, because it's quite early. Well, he will be having a bit harder time actually, and do we see another kind of drop or what? That's weird here. Yeah. And they are not saving this one. Well, that's weird. That's weird that we are again getting connection issues. I'm kind of thinking it's something up with Woobly actually this evening, which is unfortunate. And yep, it's actually the correct save, so no problems there. And that's where we left with 9 Racing Cat having his Valorant Oracles in the game. And in Titus base, more importantly, together with the 2 little Prometheans and the big Promethean actually attacking the Manor here. So yeah, this is a very fast advance here, and unfortunately for for Nyan, he was a bit too slow because he wanted exactly this stop from happening, this Promethean, and he was almost on time. But, well, he didn't, and this Promethean did make an appearance, so that's important. And, well, seems like Nyan Racing Cat is taking this very seriously. We also see though some shifting sands from here, and they are going... Well, not exactly sure where they went. So I don't really see any wrong colored dots anywhere. But anyway, this fight is probably the most important right now, where 9 Racing Cat is not really doing enough, and Temista is going to help with his extra free centaur, and I'm kinda thinking this should be enough. And we have another tag here for Kill You Die, right now taking second TC, same as Temista. And, well, it seems like Magic is going for a second TC as well, so that's interesting there. It seems like this attack didn't really pay off all that much. See that Tito is having a whole lot of things here. Kill You Die having shifting sands here. And did he do anything important? Not actually seeing it. But, well, maybe I missed something, I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, Magic is doing a pretty good job here with raiding, so he wasn't coming for a second TC. But he is raiding fully. And this is pretty important because Ayak right now will be forced off his foot, and giraffes will get him killed. And at the same time, that's a lot of goats. So okay, they may have been stealing goats there from Titu here. So that was maybe the reason for the shifting sands, and I might be thinking that's really the case here. Anyway, 9 Raisin's cat attack is basically dead right now, and he won't be having anything at all. You can see that he's moving himself, and he's moving back to Kirudai's base, so he will be protecting him, and that means that Kirudai will probably go for some bit more booming and supply 9 Racing Cat with some decent army. Right now there's 2 TCs that could be pretty much standard 2 TC, faster heroic for Ra in just a moment. Just right now looking if the armory, yeah, this is the armory, so that's going to be the 2 TC. And well, how's it looking for the pocket here, 9 Racing Cat when his attack has stopped? Well, not much interesting stuff, just this very well placed Kataskopos from Themistocles for potential underworld passage, and well, Magic is not giving up on the raiding here. He's doing pretty well here, keeping this kind of army from Kayak occupied while he is trying to find a way with Turmas somewhere else, but he won't really be lucky because Ayak has already dropped a second TC and is having everything quite nicely protected and heading for for faster heroic himself with the armor here dropped as well. So that's going to be a pretty good job by him, very nicely walled in. How's it looking somewhere else? 2 TCs from Magic. It's from Magic. Temista right now at 3 TC, so he is booming pretty hard, and that's going to be some probably faster mythic from him, and nothing very beastly we can expect in some kind of mid game. And well, how's it looking here? Titu going for 30 TC, the front from his. So he is not really aiming to stick to classical, I would say. He will be going for some faster heroic as well, because he probably will recognize pretty soon that his position is not going to be all that safe, with Temista going for some boom and he himself being alone against 9 Racing Cat and heroic Kill who will be advancing very soon, 65% into Hathor. It's not going to be an army that Titu will be able to kill by himself, but he better be careful, because 9 Racing Cat right now knows what this is all about, and he will try to stop the TC from coming up. Does he have enough army here though? Well, that's just goats, that's not going to help, and this army is not strong enough, but still could be important. Magic is going for 30C himself, because he recognizes that he is not going to raid his opponent all that strongly, but right now he might catch those release. Yeah, that was just last moment that he actually called them. And what's this relic? Hypaspis and so on and so forth. So that's interesting, and not exactly sure why he hasn't already put it back into his temple. Probably just wanting some extra empowerment sooner than rather than later. And well, this raiding is so far I think going pretty well, because it's biding all Ajax army, and right now once this goes badly for him, due to Shockwave for example, he might be having a free shot at those gold willies. So quite nice attempt here. At the same time, pretty good raiding from Titu here, who is trying to raid Green's food sources pretty successfully, so even though the Manor is protecting them, it is a downtime in gathering. Killing the hero Turma is quite valuable at this stage of the game. T2 going for 30C, already having three regents, so that's pretty important. And Kill You Die having very nice defensive Migdol and already pumping units. That should be a very important sign for regents to actually pay attention to this, because this will develop into a double of Kill You Die and 9 Racing Cat or T2, I think. Right now Titus' sole purpose is denying this 30C, I would think, and this will be pretty much its main goal right now. And at the same time trying to boom, maybe, even just maybe, advance into Heroic as well. At the same time, this guy is going for some radiant with Betsukos and Vajet, but he's almost dead, so he better be careful he doesn't encounter the DC here. Yeah, but right now, being pursued by this guy. Okay, but with the extra locusts, that's pretty powerful. Wow, that's already 3 willies dead. One almost dead, fully dead. So that's pretty good raiding. So even though he lost the rock, the damage has already been done, and pretty good job indeed here. At the bottom, Magic was trying to raid the gold willies here. Ah, he actually left the room here. Okay, that's something that I did not expect. He actually left the room here in the wall, and well, that's bad news for Ajax. So goodbye, Willis. You have to go home. The mist advancing into Apollo, and well, some nice shenanigans from Nyan. Just brewing here. He's trying to transport his military buildings into the middle of Regen's base, and he is very close to actually those 3 willies, and there is nothing to protect them. Right now, Temista might be discovering this. Will he? I think it's kind of range, so he probably will not. Yeah, he didn't. That was terribly close though. And Titu at the same time has his hands full in actually dealing with the double here. Those Petsuchai are a bit of a problem for Titu, who's having army basically solely of Turmas. And with the siege towers in the forefront, it's not like they can actually do something reasonable here. And it seems like 9 is having a bit of a connection problems here. And luck is really palpable right now. So I don't want to be a bad prophet, but it might result into another save here. But hopefully it will be fixed by 9 or anyone else who might be lagging will be continuing with the game. But right now Titu's main goal was to keep this TC from Kilyudai's hands, and that's not happening. I'm kind of thinking he doesn't really have enough army to actually stop it from going up. All it takes for Kiryudai is to drop some few more siege towers, and they will absorb all the pierce damage, and that's going to be it. Something else happening at the map here. Well, just Themistocles recognizing that the double is going to happen at the right, and he is already preparing some hippicons himself. At the left we have 3 TC Ayak, 3 TC Magic. And Ayak already having a pretty good army here. And once this Migdol is dropped, he is going to cover this gold and having a pretty good position. TC together with Migdol, that's pretty strong and will be a very good forward base to actually launch an attack on this TC. And you can see that Magic is already housed, so he is having a pretty large army right now. That's already a pretty good raid in here though, from Kiludai, who is not fighting with his full army at the bottom, but he's using some of the chariots and the camels to actually go for some raiding, which is a pretty good idea. And with the extra help from 9 Racing Cat, this could be quite good. And Temista is building some military buildings here, but he will be a bit too slow, and I think very nastily surprised when he actually realizes green is here as well and not just red. So this probably signals that Temista is already going into Mythic. Yeah, he's already 5% into Hephaestus. How's it looking at the battle here at the bottom? Well, Tito is doing all he can to stop this TC from being built, but it's kinda difficult. Without any melee units, he can't actually do any reasonable damage, and right now he will have to retreat with everything, and Kiryudai is a pretty good spot to defend this position and even push forward, because this TC will be very vulnerable, and again, without any melee units, that's going to be very hard to kill the siege from the Egi. And one Manticore is not going to cut it at this point. Well, this lag is really pretty bad, to be honest. So in the meantime, let's have a look at the left, where a whole lot of units died from Magic. That was a whole lot of Turmas, and we also see that mercenaries are finally making an appearance here. And yep, times are getting very difficult for ReGen again, even though they had a pretty promising start, especially Magic on the left. Yeah, Magic right now complaining that he's losing unnecessary units, and it really might be because of this. Pretty bad luck. They might try to save, and yeah, 9 Racing Cat actually trying to restart his game. "35%, a lot of Willies on gold already, so will be quite prepared, it seems, to Mista. And right now we are in a pretty much the spot where we left. So we have a look at where actually Kilyudai has established his trade at pretty much the longest trade route possible. So yeah, that's going to net him quite a lot of gold. You can see 265, a whole lot to actually supply his production of mercenaries that just going to go in from this TC very soon. So this is a very decisive push on the right side against Titu, and he's going to be having a whole lot of troubles defending against this. And Temista will have to help him with all he has. And right now already dropping a temple, so it's definitely a sign that he's already preparing for advancing to Mythic, and that's going to be, yeah, the standard Colossi together with Myrmidons. But right now, Kiryudai doesn't really have all that enough army to take the TC down, it seems, and well, looking at the left, Iron Magic is right now thinking that he doesn't want to fight in the battle there and wants to go for some raiding here, which is, I think, a pretty good idea. So even though Ayak knows about it, thanks to the mercenary who just died, this is going to be a bit of a slaughter here, because he does have 3 units here. So even though mercenaries are going to make an appearance, it's still gonna be a bit of a disruption, and well, we have a ceasefire from Temista, and that's basically to save Titu, because the full double is in place here, and that gives Kiryudai a time to build some military buildings and prepare even more strong and stronger push in the right side. At the same time, Temista has advanced into Hephaestus, so that's very important because he will be able to spam the army right now, but he better be careful because Kiryudai is continuing with the raiding with chariots and camels on the gold valleys here, and yeah, he will have to retreat with that if he is aware, which he should be, because this red spot on the map is very hard to miss. At the same time, the battle at the middle is why Themistocles doesn't really support on the right with all he has. He had quite some army here, and he's trying to stop 9 Racing Cat from the shenanigans here, which will be easy, although these two behemoths are well, they will be a bit of a problem, but not much. So let's switch back into the battlefield and see if the ceasefire was actually worth it. Ah, I'm just looking at the mini. Oh yeah. This is a pretty good idea. And unfortunately for him though, the Colossus that was the most important unit in this push, is being converted, but Bellerophon is not far behind, so this underworld passage should be staying. And Themista is not really leaving anything to chance, and he will be taking the TC here quite assuredly in just a moment. And Ayak is though pushing on the left with Ancestors, so that's a lot of things happening all over the map, on the left, on the right, and in the middle. And this battle is, well, quite interestingly going for Ayak, and it doesn't seem like Magic should be defending this without losses, and he definitely isn't. A lot of slings here with the extra melee damage from the Ancestors and the siege towers is, well, quite a lot of army that Magic is having all kinds of troubles dealing with. So pretty good job on the left, and on the right. Yeah, this is at the same time a strong push from Kiliudai, where though now Tiltu is 1v1, and I think he does have enough army to stop this right now, because he does have a bit of a Murmilos. In the middle though, a 9 Racing Cat is basically getting deleted. And the only army that is defending him are mercenaries from Kiliudai, so that's a bit of a strain. And yeah, they will be missing in the forefront, so that's as good help from Themista to Titu as can be, because if he wasn't here, it would have been the mercenaries and the attack there. Right now he is going for the TC, that's going to be 4th. It's going to be quite interesting, or not. Kiliudai right now advancing into Horus, and let's see if this tornado can kill the underworld passage. It seems it will, and it does. And it killed, what's more important, all the villies here from Themista. So that was insanely good tornado from Kiliudai. Insanely good, insanely well placed. And that's basically the end of all this. Because yeah, Themista doesn't have any extra villies here, and he has absolutely nothing that he can do with this, and Underworld Passage is already wasted. On the left side, Ayak is definitely pushing through. He has killed Magic's front TC, right now capturing it for himself. And even though he doesn't have far to go with the mercenaries, he doesn't really need them, it seems. And is gaining the advantage ever more here. On the right side, Titu has lost his TC finally to the push from Kiliudai, and well, at the same time he does have a pretty good army here, but I'm thinking that yeah, Titu is still in classical age and not doing well enough to defend this, and since Kiliudai is in mythic, I'm not really seeing a way how classical age Ati can defend against mythical age Kiliudai by himself. Themista is at least trying to help him with heavy Myrmidons, with at least the baseline, and not even baseline, it's already the second one. So this could be turning into ReGen's favor in just a moment, thanks to the strength of the mythical units from Zeus. But let's have a look at these green dots here. It seems like 9 Racing Cat hasn't been killed, and he's wreaking havoc here with his extra mythical units, because Themista is having all kinds of troubles actually somehow deciding what he should do first. He needs to let Titu, because otherwise Titu would be just killed by Kiliudai, but he also needs at the same time deal with the middle here, and he seems to be completely ignoring it, even though his Myrmidons are going just through the middle here. Right now finally he noticed that he needs to do something about it, and Titu's TC is down, and that 9 Racing Cat is having some kind of ideas of actually capturing it. So far I'm not seeing any villagers, and with the fact that Themista is actually taking notice, it should be stopped. And well, on the left, Magic has been somehow able to at least stop the tide here, but he is fighting right now 2 versus 4 TCs, which means that Themista is trying to help him. And in the minimap you can see that the steal of the TC hasn't worked, and 9 Racing Cat is back at 3 TCs. I'm not expecting all that many upgrades, just one. And I was looking at Ayak, he has a pretty good pierce damage, and so I'm not really all that sure that those Arcuses are the best unit that can be used at this point. But well, it seems to be working, so yeah, well, who am I to say differently? At the same time we see the full mercenary shenanigans at the right. I was looking at upgrades here, nothing, and for Kiliudai also nothing, and Titu I'm kinda expecting the same, just the pierce armor. But yeah, he definitely lost the front TC, and it's going to be 4 TCs for Kiliudai as well. So both Aegis for Lats are at 4 TCs, while the Oranoses for both ReGen are at just 2. So this is really a game for Temista to decide, because if he can somehow help on either the right side or the left without underworld passage, which is very important at this stage, he can turn the game around. But yeah, it's going to be super tough for him. Super tough. Because right now those two Eggies are everything that actually Lat needs to somehow survive this game and not really let the opponents to go into offensive. You can see the nonsense with the mercenaries and the very long trade route for both of them. So yeah, that's that. So on the right side, Temista seems to be pushing a bit more, and it seems to be at least stopping this onslaught from red. But on the left, yeah, it's not really happening here, because Magic is not handling Ayak in any way, and I'm not really surprised about that. And Nyan Racing Cats actually somehow managed to get this Titan survive, or Colossi, keep him alive. That's, I think, the first stolen from Temista, and well, Magic is through Helios. Can that actually help him? I'm not sure, but I want to have a look at this. No, I don't. This. I wanted to see. You can actually see. I don't remember if it's going to be Supremacy or Conquest. I'm kind of thinking it's Supremacy, which might come actually back to bite a lot if ReGen recognize the possibility here. They might go for the Wonder if they want. I think that the Mythical Zeus would be able to defend it. But, well, can they? On the right side, the Mista's presence is doing very well. And together with him, Tito is finally advancing into Heroic, and he's making an advance actually, and will be trying to take this TC down. Those Myrmidons, let's switch into them. Heavy Myrmidons, just missing champions, are at full upgrades, and will be pretty beast right now, taking down the Migdol. This is a moment that's going to decide this game. Because if this push is successful against the TC, and on the left side Magic can somehow hold on with at least a bit of Temista's help, this could really help ReGens to get back into the game and somehow win it. But at the same time, I'm not really seeing Magic really winning this battle. And the help right now from Temista is not really strong, and the amount of priests means that, well, this is basically just a waste of resources, these guys in silver. Much more valuable would be the Myrmidons and possibly even Hippicons against all these extra slings and priests. But, well, ReGens are definitely not giving up, and I wouldn't put it behind them to actually turn this game around. So, this battle is raging on quite fully, right now being stalled by the TC because there is absolutely no siege from Ayak. So, it's kinda curious at this point. And on the right, we see a full offensive on the front TC of T2, so Kilura will be back at just 2, or rather 3. And this TC might be coming in T2's favor, or maybe into Temista. I would be thinking that it would be much better if Temista was able to capture it, because he needs to be helping both sides at the same time, and well, it would be slightly better for them, I think, but at the same time, it's not going to be very easy to actually capture it at this point, because this TC is very close, which means mercenaries are not far behind. But that is, yeah. Here we have a tower spam. So yeah, Kiruda recognizes that this is a very dangerous spot, and this might actually go badly for them. So he is employing some tower spam, which will help some extra fire damage, and should be able to stall the onslaught on the right with everything. And here we have a pretty good vortex from green to get rid of some of the TCs from Temista, which is a very good idea. Without any extra spells, just Magic is a vortex as well, but he doesn't have any army really. So this is going to be, well, not nice for Temista, because he will lose pop limit, and his presence on the battlefield will be weakened quite a lot, and he doesn't have any army, and military buildings are quite far away, so tough to defend. And Nyan Racing Cat is actually supporting his vortex with some Templin here and going into Radiant into the village, so pretty good job by him. Very, very good job. On the left, we see that Temista's more pronounced position is reaping some pain benefits. And yeah, Magic has just recognized that he needs to move from the left side to the middle to actually counter the vortex from Nyan. And does 9 have some upgrades? No, just champions. Just champions, and iMagic is at least the baseline, so he should be winning the battle here. And a few minions are just going to kill this. Well, the TC will be back up in just a moment. At the right side, Tito is capturing his 30 seep, so this battle is going very well, as Kiryudai is having all kinds of troubles and dealing with the Golden Colossi, so that's going to be another TC down, and he will be dropped from 4 to 2, and more importantly, Mercenaries will have a longer way to arrive at the battlefield, which is just as important spot at this point. Oh, that was very close, that was almost down. Almost down, and just at the last moment and those priests were able to take it down and save the TC. That's important spot. So the raiden in the middle has been stopped, I think. Yeah, TC being rebuilt, and 9 is still present though, so it's still there. And in the middle, well, it seems like Ayak is making use of the let off of the army here, but iMagic is right now back with everything and fighting back with 2 TC against 4, and it's going to be a whole lot tougher now with those extra towers and Migdals here though. So Temista will have to fight a bit more here on the left side, and at the same time I'm thinking that it should be best if he actually used some extra siege on the right, which he probably will. This battle is still stalled, because I'm still not seeing any extra siege from Ayak. I'm just wondering why he isn't building catapults. This is exactly what is needed here. But anyway, the battle is now kinda stallish and going slightly into ReGen's favor, while on the right side T2 has actually lost the TC, so as soon as he rebuilt it, he has lost it again, and the battle is again switching into Lad's favor, because 9 Racing Cat is making his appearance known here, and this is basically good old double of Kiryudai and 9 Racing Cat against T2 alone, because Temista is not having enough pop to be able to help both sides at the same time. So this is T2 losing ground, and on the left is ReGen gaining enough ground. Well, they are, but it's kinda slowish, and with the building spam here that Ayak is employing, it might be a bit slower still. Although this Zelepoli is doing a pretty good job. And maybe Fanatics are making an appearance. That's a very strong unit against those mercenaries especially, and literally anything. Those extra medium axemen and such, so this is a pretty good combo, Myrmidons together with the Fanatics here. So that's kind of a stallish battle here at this point, but on the right, the tide is switching from T2's advantage into his disadvantage again, and he will be forced to defend quite a lot, so maybe some building spam wouldn't be the worst kind of idea on this right side as well, because they kinda need to hold, and in the middle we have a bit of a raiding, where 9 Racing has found some extra free release from T2 and is trying to kill them, and he will succeed, I think. His temple has been killed in the middle though, but he is not giving up and is trying the same thing again, although he will probably be discovered reasonably soon because it's very close in the trade route, but since it's a palace, it's well placed and will be depriving ReGen of their extra gold. Here we see some surprise Vortex from iMagic, who thinks that his base is kinda okay, and he's just switching the battlefield here and drawing 9 Racing Cats a Vortex as well, and that's a whole lot of army, and that's a whole lot more army than Magic has, quite obviously 2 versus 3 TCs. And that was basically a last Hail Mary, and ReGen recognized that this game is not theirs for the taking anymore and resign. And let's win 2-0. GG. So let's have a look at the post game here. Kiryudai as the MVP. He was having a pretty nice game, and yeah, he wasn't raided like Ayak was by Magic, so yeah, he didn't really lose anything all that much. And Ayak most military count and units killed, but I think it's mainly because of mercenaries. He was employing quite a lot of them on the left, and he was having a lot of trash units like the slingers and such. Yeah, it's kind of understandable the stats here. 13-minute mythic from Zeus is not half bad, but he was a pocket, so it's kinda expected. But unfortunately, really, once the regents were down on TCs, they didn't really have all that strong position, and it was kinda unfortunate that both Oranoses were at the sides against the Ras, or rather the Aegis, because that meant they will be subject to basically priest siege rush, priest siege attack, and yeah, that worked like a charm against them. Wow, 215 champion Myrmidons. Well, they were champion all the time, but anyway, that's a pretty decent number, and even that couldn't turn the battle around. But well, this is kind of sad when you look at this. Kirudai's most often used unit, Mercenary. Oh well. A lot of resources just unused because, especially for Kirudai, who didn't need it, and apparently neither did his allies. Alright, so GG, 2-0 for Lats.